prayer is the most misunderstood art of the human experience. Everybody prays. Buddhists pray, Hindus pray, Muslims pray, Scientologists pray, humanists pray to themselves. Everybody prays. And so prayer is not unique to any specific religion. I think prayer is unique to humans. The human spirit has to somehow look outside himself for help. That's a normal human response. And this is why even when an atheist gets in an accident, he say, "Oh my God." Inside of the human DNA, there is something which says, I need help outside of myself, outside of this world. And this is why people pray. However, not all prayers are answered. Now, some people think that prayer is just a suspicion. It doesn't work. Matter of fact, there are people who are so skeptical about prayer that they don't even ascribe to it. They say that prayer is really a waste of time. Prayer is not real. It doesn't work. And in some ways, I could appreciate their comments, because if you had a bad experience with something, you develop a skepticism about it. But prayer is the most important activity of humanity. First of all, let me just correct a couple of concepts about prayer. Number one, prayer is not a religious act. Religions use it, but prayer in its original context is not an original, not a religious act. It's actually a governmental activity. It's a political act. Why? Because the word prayer, when you read the Bible, the word that is used for prayer is the word that is kind of a strange word. It means petition. To petition. And petitions are only presented to governments or to an authority. The word that is used for prayer is a governmental activity. So when you talk about petitioning, there has to be some specific things involved. You cannot petition unless you have laws and constitutions. So constitutional rights are necessary in order for citizens to petition a government. This is why when the Bible talks about the coming of the Messiah, it had to say, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders." He's coming with a government on his shoulders. And then it says, "He shall reign." Reign means it is authority. On the throne of David, which means that is a governmental position. And he shall establish his kingdom, which is a government and a country. And he shall establish it on peace and righteousness. Prayer is therefore the petitioning of an authority for rights that are guaranteed in a constitution. Prayer is the petitioning of authority for rights guaranteed in the Constitution. When I did my research on the word prayer, all the Hebrew words that are used are interesting words, and they have to do with asking for something from someone who you believe has it. In other words, you go to your boss and pray for a raise. The word prayer would be used there in the Hebrew language. If you went to go and ask for a raise on your job, the word prayer would be used there. Because you are going to an authority who you believe has the capacity to answer your request. But it has to be an authority with the ability. So prayer is not really a religious experience. It is actually a legal activity. And this is why prayer is misunderstood. Here's the Hebrew word that is used for prayer in most of the texts. Matter of fact, there are about 7 words that are translated from the word prayer. But this one is the most powerful one. And this word, in Texas, is also from a root word, desis, and these two words in Hebrew means petition or to entreat. Now, you entreat someone if they are a governmental authority. You entreat them because you believe they have what you need, and you have a right to get it. So prayer involves a number of things that has to be in place. There has to be an authority, there has to be laws, there has to be a constitutional rights situation, and then you got to know what they have and know that you have a right to it. Prayer. Prayer, therefore, is petitioning the authority. Let me give you a couple of thoughts to think about prayer, and if you can't keep up with me here, write as fast as you can, but after the meeting, run to that table over to your right and get a copy of this session on DVD and CD if you wish to get all the notes. The power of the human is necessary in understanding prayer. Listen carefully, please. When God created the earth, he gave legal authority in the earth to humans. Remember God speaking in Genesis 1:26 about the making of you. He says, let us make a species called man in our own image and in our likeness, and let them have dominion over the earth. He didn't say let us have dominion. He said let them have dominion over the earth. That means he was shifting control over the earth from himself to his children. Now, one of the issues in the Bible that becomes very, very sensitive is the fact that when God speaks, his words become law, like any other king, except he's the King of Kings. So when God speaks, his word becomes law. So when God says, let them have dominion over the earth, he was literally creating a law in the earth where them become the authority. Them is referring to humans. Now, a human is a mystery, and I mentioned this last time. A human is a composite of dirt and spirit. The word humus means earth or dust. Write that down. It means dirt, humus. The word man is the word God used to describe the spirit being that he created. The Hebrew word there is the word ish, man, ish, mankind. God made a spirit being out of himself and put it in a dirt body which he formed from the ground and called it man, and because he is in humus, he is called humus man or human. Now that is the creature God gave authority in the earth to. He gave authority in the earth to a spirit being living in a dirt body. That is the law. Therefore, it means then that the only creatures that have legal right to function on earth with authority are spirits with a body.